Am I audible to everyone? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes,
Yes,
जी
sir. जी नमस्कार sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. Very good evening to one and all present here today for the second day of the AICTE sponsored ATAL Faculty Development Program. Our guest speaker for today is Dr. Vivekanand sir from MNIT Jaipur. I would like to call upon Dr. Manish Singh Rajput sir to welcome him. Manish sir, please unmute yourself first. Ji, fine.
Yeah, good evening to all of you. Professor Vivekanand sir has a special association with the institute. So he takes out time from his busy schedule and immediately gives her time for our request. So on behalf of our my director, Professor Rachna Asthana Madam, I welcome Professor Vivekanand sir and wants to give a special thanks to him. You are most welcome, Professor Vivekanand sir.
Thank you, sir. Before starting the session, first I would like to introduce Dr. Vivekanand to one and all. Dr. Vivekanand is working as assistant professor and has been head of the department at Center for Energy and Environment, Malviya National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, India. He has completed his PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. He has been awarded with highly prestigious Ramalingam Swamy Re-Entry Fellowship from DBT, Government of India, National Postdoctoral Fellowship from All India Council of Technical Education, New Delhi, and Ministry of Education, Assistantship at IIT Roorkee, India. He was working as postdoctoral research scientist for 7 years in Sweden and Norway. At University of Gothenburg, Sweden, he was awarded seed grant from the Royal Society of Arts and Science, Sweden, to work on low lignin oats. Subsequently, he worked on biomass to bioenergy projects with premier Norwegian Biomass Research Group at Norwegian University of Life Science at Norway's National Facility of Biogas. He has keen research interest and expertise in biomass, seaweed, lignocellulose, agro-horticultural, biogenous, residual materials, pretreatment, bioprocessing, as well as its conversion for bioenergy applications. He is closely associated with Norwegian Center for Bioenergy Research, Norwegian Institute for Agriculture, Environmental Research, SLU, CAMBI, and TIME, and advancement of upcoming generation of biofuels. Presently, he has 77 international research articles with citations of more than 2,775 with an H index of 28, published in SCI journals of high repute. He was interviewed by University of Gothenburg, Sweden, for extraordinary performance. With this, sir, I would like to invite you to take on the session from here onwards on research methodology. Thank you, sir. Vivekanand, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Namaskar, and
Namaskar,
thank
sir.
you, and very good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
I thank Dr. Manish Singh Rajput and Dr. Sushil, as well as Director AITH Kanpur, for giving me the so warm welcome, and I'm always there for you all. And thank you so much for inviting me for this noble cause, so that we can interact on a common platform and do as much as good possible. So currently we are hosting 1 week Indo-German summer-winter school. So I was busy till 6. I went home, had a cup of coffee, and then back. so thank you all, and we'll start the lecture soon. And the thing is, maybe because of the bandwidth, or either there or here, there is some connection problem. So I'll put off my video so that there is a smooth, flow of data. And
Okay.
thank you, Manish sir, for being so kind and generous, and Sushil sir also, for giving so much nice and very detailed introduction. So I'm always there for you. We all are just one, and whenever you remember, I should be there all. And I also welcome participants who are taking their valuable time, especially in this hour when there are people with families, people who are single, people who are students, but it's their time to be here. Thank you, Ambedkar Institute of Technology, for arranging this, and we'll start the lecture. Thank you so much. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Your slide is visible.
Okay, and I have disappeared because I put off my video so that there is a smooth flow of data.
No problem, sir.
No glitch, yeah. So good evening again to one and all, and today we are discussing a research methodology, which is a quite vast topic, but it has been really tailored based on the all those delegates and participants in today's lecture. So without any delay, let us discuss what is research methodology actually, and it is defined as a highly intellectual human activity used in investigation of nature and matter, and deals specifically with the manner in which data is collected, analyzed, and interpreted. So just to tell you the thing, you can you are not. And this methodology consists of unanswered questions like why, what, when, how, all these, and then unsolved questions, concerns, why this is happening, query, how this is happening, statement of inquiry, why this has been happened, why not this happened actually. So all these kind of research, and it's not only related to the one kind of science, but it has a vast area. But slowly we'll go in detail with the biological sciences. So it's like you have to live with the kid inside you who is always inquisitive, like how it is happening and why it is happening. The questions regarding the objective of the research. The purpose of the research is to discover answers to the questions through the application of scientific procedures. It's not like I thought or you thought or somebody thought and then there is proof of the concept. No, it has to be experimentally validated. It has to be validated many times. And if you're getting the same results, it sounds to be okay. So for this procedure, we follow to gain familiarity with the phenomena or to achieve new insights into it. It can be exploratory or formulative research studies. Second is to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual, situation, or a group, descriptive research studies. To determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with the something else, that is called diagnostic research study. So there it comes with the basic sciences, medical sciences, engineering sciences, and technological details to test the hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. Like once you have some research project kind of thing, and then you have some good hypothesis that this may or may not work. And of course, you can even publish the negative results because you were researching and what you thought it didn't happen in the number of experiments. So you can even publish the negative results, whatever you have achieved. So motivation in the research, I mean, why we should be interested in performing any kind of research. What makes people to undertake the kind of research? And then there is a very fundamental question and its importance, like a desire to get research degree like PhD or MTech or MSc benefits. I mean the career orientation. To desire to face the challenges in solving the unsolved problems. There are people who don't want any degree, but they are just trying to solve some research problems. that is the concern over practical problems initiates the research, a daily life problem, I mean, actually. To desire to get intellectual joy of doing something creative, because there are many people who do a number of things on daily basis. They don't want any degree, but they enjoy doing something else, and people keep on appreciating. You must be watching these kind of videos in a number of social media platforms. Am I audible? We are still connected?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Because sometimes I keep on talking and there may or may not be connection. Yeah. So desire to be service to the society. I mean, think about the person who would have invented the internet after hefty research, after very long time research, and that's why we are here. Think about people who would have invented floppy disk. Think about people who would have invented USB drives. Think about people who would have invented chips. Think about people who would have invented this glucometer and the strips for the glucose oxidase to measure the sugar level in our blood. So these are the services to the society people invent, and then it gets commercialized, and we all really get help and support for all these kind of research-based products. So criteria of a good research. I mean, research is not very complex thing. Let me explain you in a very straightforward way that you are somewhere and you need to go somewhere. So you have to go to some kind of, some kind of media you have to follow so that you could reach the destination. So your origin and your destination. So the media you will use, research methodologies or, all other kind of methodologies, the stops in between your origin and destination, and your staying time on those stops, and the hurdles you face while you were traveling from your origin to the destination. This all comes under research and results and discussion. And finally you were at your destination, and then you can again see like, okay, what has been still limitation to cover this journey, and what are the future prospects in which I can make this journey much better. So those are things that are going to written down in terms of future perspectives. So you had the review literature and introduction, then you had methodology, then you had destination, and while coming and going back, you found on the way a number of stops over, and then you had a number of the kind of speed breakers and other things, even the toll booth. So, but somehow you are at your destination. So this is the very simple journey I can explain you. But talking scientifically, the purpose should be clearly defined.
1G 8 minutes right okay.
Kalpana ma'am, you are requested to keep your mic off.
Then the research process should be detailed. Research design should thoroughly be planned. There must be highly ethical standards which one has to follow. Adequate analysis for the decision makers' needs should be there. Conclusions must be justified, as well as the researcher's experience in findings or observations what he or she is reporting. So type of research, there is a number of types, but majorly purpose, process, and outcome. So purpose can be exploratory as well as predictive. You both know they are self-explanatory, the exploratory as well as predictive, descriptive as well as analytical. In the process, one research is quantitative, one is qualitative, and outcome-based research is applied research, action-oriented research, basic or pure research. So these kind of majorly three criteria are there. So descriptive versus analytical research means like describing a state of affairs, mostly involve primary data or ex post research. So you have to go through a number of very hardcore literature survey, and then this descriptive research gives meaning to the quality and understanding of facts that are going on. For instance, the information about a group of person, a number of objects, a set of conditions, class of events, etc., or experience which may you wish to study for. And analytical research means carrying out analysis on a phenomena mostly involves secondary data like ex ante research before contemplated changes. So one is with the description, and one is just analysis of the whole process, like why it is happening, how it is happening, etc. Applied versus fundamental research, I think the audience is mostly biologists over there. So applied research aims to find a solution to an immediate problem facing country, society, organization, or even a family level or individual level. And applied research refers to the scientific study and research that seeks to solve practical problems. Like what happened this the COVID times, we had a number of test kits and hands-on kit and ready kit. And even before that, there are a number of kits which can tell you regarding the medical problems one is having. Fundamental research is just basic research at molecular level. You observe it, you note it, you try to figure out the mechanism, and then you try to use a number of other practices to get more into it, at how it is happening, why it is happening, and all that stuff. So once the molecular level is fixed, then you slowly proceed for the applied. So this is again the parameter of comparison, basic research and applied research. There are n number of parameters depending on definition, aim, efficacy, nature of research, what is alarmed with, and how the environment is going to be affected. Let us take the last point, that environment on basic research and applied research, what is the effect? So environment in the basic research is completed in limited environment like laboratories, whereas the applied research is conducted in an open world at commercial scale or pilot plant scale with many unexpected variables in the place if you have not been up to that mark. Of course, the aim of the basic research is to extend the prevailing source of evidence about different sources and objectives. And aim of the applied research is to develop new techniques and technologies or processes for solving various industrial problems, as well as for creating or launching new products in the society. Again, the quantitative research, it refers to systematic empirical investigation of any phenomena via statistical, mathematical, or computational modeling. Objective of this quantitative research is to develop and employ mathematical models and theories, and is generally made using scientific methods like the generation of models, theories, and hypotheses, development of instruments and methods for measurement, experimental control, manipulation of variables, collection of empirical data, modeling and analysis of data, evaluation of results. So as a biologist, we use this, but very little. But if you are a hardcore mathematician, and if you have a very, kind of big data, you can use n number of modeling, like nowadays, even the n number of software, including the AI and ML, as well as CFD and other new softwares are there, which can give you the pattern based on the big data you have. Qualitative research is dealing with possible to quantify and to gather an in-depth understanding of human behavior and the reasons that govern such behavior. The qualitative method investigates the why and how, the decision making, where and when. So, and conceptual versus empirical research. The research related to some objects, abstracts, idea, or theory is known as conceptual research. And empirical research, on the other hand, exclusively relies on the observation or experience with hardly any regard of theory and system. And such research, like empirical research, is on the base of data, what you have, which often comes up with the conclusions that can be verified through the experiments as well as observations. Whereas the conceptual research flows only in the mind. Research process. So if you look around the circle, it starts with this research idea, literature review, theoretical formulation of the research problem, empirical research questions like operationalization, research design, the planning. Once you have the research design format and then the collection, then once you have all this data coming from different sources, you go for data analysis, answering the empirical research questions based on this data analysis, the pattern you get, and as well as your observations and justifications, then theoretical interpretation of the results and comparison with earlier research carried out, and you go for conclusions. So all these things walk hand in hand. It's not possible that one can jump from one step to the other one without knowing or observing the process or the phenomena what is happening around. Significance of any research is all progress is born of inquiry, and doubt is often better than overconfidence, for it leads to inquiry, and inquiry leads to the invention overall. So research inculcates scientific and inductive thinking, which promotes development of logical habit of thinking and organization. Anytime if you think, if you do, whatever results you are getting, you must ask why this is coming. If you get why this is coming, the answer of this, you must think how this is coming, which can be got by the methodology or the mechanism you have already studied and applied. And then when it is coming, that is clear with you. And again, how we can make it better. Like suppose it's taking a little extra time to get the incubation period up to the mark, then you can always increase the temperature, change the chemical, and just try hit and try method. And maybe at industrial scale, even if you save 2 minutes for one reaction, you will save hundreds and hundreds of rupees at the end of your commercial product, because time is money nowadays. Fields of applied economics were related to the business or to economy as a whole, as I told you just now. Research provides the basis for nearly all government policies in our economic system. You must be reading all these newspapers from India as well as abroad, that our social sciences people are there. There are a number of universities and institutes where there is a department in the name of technology and department of interface of technology as well as social sciences. So where the people of the social sciences department, they take the technology and put it in the society, and then they collect the research data based on the survey, how this product has changed the behavior of the human being, how this product has changed the lifestyle of the human being, how this product has started to cause any disease, if any, how this product has started to degrade the environment, if any, how this product has added value to the lives of the users, if any, all those, and how this product has added into the socio-economic welfare or well-being of human being in that particular society or country, or even at family level. So all this comes under this only, and then only based on these data, then the ministries or secretariats and a number of other departments, they really to take it very seriously, and based on the outcomes of these research-based products or any societal welfare programs, they make the policy. Like suppose nowadays from the MNRE itself, there is a Kusum Yojana, there is solar rooftop Yojana, there is a biogas Yojana, there is Govardhan Yojana. There are n number of projects coming out, and which have really been very seriously taken away maybe 4 or 5 years back, and then based on the output of those surveys at societal level as well as human interventions, society may have the best policies as well as the best products to take the country to the newer heights. And solving various operational and planning problems of business and industry. For social scientists, in studying social relationship and in seeking answers to various societal problems, philosophers and thinkers, research may mean the outlet of new ideas and insights. And for the literally men and women, research may mean the development of new styles and creative work. For analysts and intellectuals, research may mean the generalization of new theories so that it can reach to one and all and every common man. So two basic approaches are there for the research. One is quantitative and another is the qualitative. So if you see in the left column, it's the discover ideas with general research objective, that comes under qualitative. And common purpose is the same, for the both, but in the quantitative, the test hypothesis or specific research questions so that you can quantify the data actually. But in qualitative, you just report the findings in the Boolean expression, either 0 or 1. But in quantitative, you get n number of big data and you go for experiments. And then based on those data outputs, you get the pattern, and then accordingly you say like, okay, this is what has been happening. And this is the trend, the things will change after 10 years or 5 years or 15 years. You all are with me?
Yes, sir. We do.
Thank you. So selection of research topic, how and why. How to select a research topic? If you go to this orange elliptical size, like research before choosing a topic should not be very broad. No, because if it is broad, it's not research. It should be like very focused. Know all the requirement. It should be relevant to your field of study. It should be aligning with the current trends and hot topics. It should aim to solve a genuine contextual problem and should be a researchable topic. It's not like the things have already been done and you are just trying to produce the wheel again. Keep page or word limit in mind while you are communicating. And this research should spark your interest rather than asking somebody what kind of research I should do. I mean, it should be originally your idea on which you will work. Because if it's not your own idea, I mean, how you will develop the methodologies? Then the person whose idea you are trying to work for, he or should be contacted. Should be relevant to the supervisor's field of study and should not cause issue in data collection. Like there are many sensitive zones, many sensitive materials, many sensitive things, so that they may or may not give the data. So you should make sure that you can get the data collection in an easy way, even with the permission on letterhead and all that stuff. And it should not compromise with the national security, any nuclear thing, any infectious disease. You have to follow all the standard procedures and rules and regulations of the government of India or the state where you are residing. Then check availability of the data collection tools, whether you have it or not. So once you are having all these in your mind and discussed it with your supervisor, you can proceed, for the research. But even before that, you have to read a lot to find the research gap in the area. And once you find the research gap, then you can, you can just tailor the objective so that you could solve that research gap. And based on the objective, you should develop methodology as well as other, things which can be, leading to the solve that research gap and fill the research gap. So factors guiding or misguiding in topic selection: availability of data, guide preference, personal life experiences of others. Suppose your senior PhD scholars, peer influence. Okay, somebody was doing PhD, but after 3 years he or she quit. Then they say, all their life experiences based on a number of things. Job market prospects, like in which area you should do. Any existing thesis available in your area. Financial limitations, whether you are going to get the scholarships or not, or you have to support your family too. Current trends in the research, publication potential of yourself as well as the group, ease of doing the research, whether the group has all the facilities or even you are comfortable or not with the with the methodology and with the machines over there. Feasibility of your research, the consequences, locational or organizational determinants, where are you located, where is your institute located, where is your family located, all that stuff. Novelty of your research, that counts a lot. Information sources, sorry, students' background and interest in the PI's group as well as your own topic of nature and value, research background, yourself as well as PI, research operability as well as research facilities in the group. So all these must be, ticked down and then supported. And once you are satisfied, not only with this, these are then just, few examples, even the list could be more long. So once you are satisfied, then you should. Because, PhD is kind of, I'm not, making you afraid, but if you are not planned, if you are not sincere, if it is not yourself, if you are not having perseverance, if you are not, not a punctual man, if you are not a very sincere person, then you will not be happy actually with the process. So overall, you should be very sincere in taking your PhD. Choose a topic that interests you, not that your parents, your friends, your supervisor, your principal, or any other body has told that. If the topic attracts you, it may attract others because we all are human beings. See yourself the master of the topic. What is your market value? If you will be the expert of this topic, can you start a consultancy on this topic? Can you start a startup with this topic? So topics you know, topics you love, topics your audience cares about, then you can choose the topic. Or it will be just a kind of wrong train. You will think that you have boarded, and it will be difficult to get down that from that wrong train, because before the station comes, you will be really feeling frustrated. So take it very seriously, that choose any topic that interests you. This is also survey-based questions like problems encountered by researchers in India, the lack of scientific training in the methodology of research, because in our system at master's level, there are very few experiments, and then there are availability of less number of sophisticated equipments because of n number of factors. So our students are less exposed compared to the foreign students, and then insufficient interaction between the university research departments on one side and business establishment, I mean the industry partners, government departments, research institutions on the other side. So there is a less synergy between all these mentioned entities, because if there is a good synergy, you can get n number of facilities on your own, because most of the time the instrument is not working well, it's not maintained, and that is also not because of the supervisor or the group, that is also because of the students, because then they don't operate it nicely. I mean, they feel about it, the carelessness, and then if the machine is broken, it's only you who is going to suffer, because although the organization or institute will get it repaired, but the time you lose, they can't provide you back. So please don't play around with the sophisticated equipments. Rather than ask the expert person to do the analysis of your samples by them, you can wait for 1 or 2 days if he or she is busy, but don't play around with these, because they cost a lot even to purchase, and then they cost a lot for their annual maintenance contract like AMC, and of course they need a lot of money if some part is broken and some part needs to be replaced, because then there is a it's a very difficult route in our government system, because it goes table to table, to get the permission for the repairing and for the expenditures and all. Accept it that you don't know and ask somebody like, okay, sir or madam, can you please help me in carrying out this analysis? Dr. Vivek Srivastava. Hello. Somebody raised hand. Yes, please. Hello.
Yes, sir. I can't see anybody, sir.
Dr. Vivek. For want of adequate information. Library management and functioning is not satisfactory at many places, because then you don't get your nice review literature. Difficulty of timely availability of published data from various government and other agencies. Like all the journals can't be subscribed because they cost a lot of money. Problem related to that, many of our libraries are not able to get copies of old and new acts and rules, reports, and other government publications in the time. Now, how and what is the research design? Task of defining the research problem is preparation of design of research project, known as research design. Decisions regarding what, where, when, how much, by what means concerning an inquiry or research study constitutes research design. And then design decisions happen to be in the respect of what is the study about, why is the study being made, where will the study be carried out, what type of data is required, where can the required data be found, what periods of time will the study include, what will be the sample design, what techniques of data collection will be used, how will the data be analyzed, in what style will the report be prepared. All these questions come because once you are in a PhD or even writing the projects and trying to get new grants, so all these are there always.
Hello, sir, are you connected?
Splitting the research. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir, actually your voice went off. I just wanted to confirm.
Okay. Yeah, is it okay now?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Okay. So procedures and techniques to be used for gathering information contains population of to be studied and methods to be used in processing and analyzing the data. Need and feature of research design. Like need of research design is to facilitate the smooth sailing of the various research operations. It should be economical and attractive construction of a house. We need a blueprint like that. So well thought out, prepared by expert architects. Similarly, we need a research design or plan so that you can do the research with n number of things or questions what you are expecting. And of course, you will be getting and meeting more hurdles, more questions, more unanswered queries. And that is the research actually one has to solve. And then features of a good design. Good design is often characterized by adjectives like flexible, appropriate, efficient, and economical, like your research design. And it may minimize bias and maximize the reliability of data. And design can yield maximal information and provide opportunity for considering many different aspects of a problem, which is considered most appropriate and efficient design in respect of many research problems. So these are the important concepts related to research design, like dependent and independent variables. I think you know it very well. And then extraneous variable, independent variables that are not related to the purpose of study, but may affect the dependent variable. They are termed as extraneous variables. Suppose that the researcher wants to test the hypothesis that there is a relationship between children's gain in social studies achievement and their self-concepts. In this case, the self-concept is an independent variable and social studies achievement is dependable variable because you can quantify with that. And intelligence may as well affect the social studies achievement, but since it is not related to the purpose of study undertaking, so it will be termed as extraneous variable, which you can't see, but it has the effect on the overall research design problem. It has to be controlled, it has to be confounded with the relationship, and then the research hypothesis should come into the picture, which is a predictive statement that relates an independent variable to a dependent variable. Usually a research hypothesis must contain at least one dependent and one independent variable so that you can control the overall system. Sorry. There are experimental, data as well as controlled samples. You know that better. Like you have to put at least one negative control, one positive control, all that stuff. Then treatments, like different conditions under the experimental and control groups are put, usually referred to as treatments. Experiments, anything you are doing for your statistical hypothesis, that's the experiment. For example, conducting an experiment to examine certain newly developed and you carry out in there are different research designs. In case of exploratory research studies, where you really go for more and more exploration. And then there are research designs in case of descriptive and diagnostic research studies, where you go and apply the concepts to what you have learned so far. There are hypothesis testing research studies, where you go for experimental studies, and such studies require procedures and processes that will not only reduce bias the reliability because of their reproducibility in triplicates and at least 3 times, and it will permit drawing inferences about casualties and a number of other things. So, and for all this you need data, but how to collect the data? Because if you have collected wrong data, or if the data collection procedure was wrong, finally you will have the wrong result. Finally, you will have the wrong observation. So one has to be very serious in the data collection. Like for the water sampling, I will just tell you example. Even for water sample collection from the sewage water or drinking water or any water, it has to come at least from 3 points. One is the just base level, one is the top level, and one is the middle level. Then you mix all these 3 because you don't know in which layer there are soluble things and in which layer there are sedimentation going on and all that stuff. So for water sampling, if it is like that, you should take at least the water from 3 different locations, the top of the cylinder or anything where you are putting the water, top, bottom, as well as the middle layer, so that you may have the uniformity in your sample, and then the whatever results you will be getting, it will be the right data rather than you are just taking the sample from the top layer of water container, and then there are already sedimentation has occurred, or even if you have mixed it, there are particles which settle down very fast. So if you are smart enough, you should take at least samples from the 3 different locations and then mix it well and then characterize it accordingly. So there are 2 types of data. One is the primary, which are collected afresh and for the first time, thus happen to be original in the character, and the secondary data, which have already been collected by someone else and which have already been passed through the statistical process, and you are trying to decipher the inferences, or even the inferences has been drawn, you are trying to use those secondary data for your own reference purposes and compare it with your own findings. Okay, let me explain you what is primary and secondary data. You see in the bottom right picture, the purple color primary data elliptical shows the statistical method, survey, polls, interview, Delphi technique, focus groups, and in the secondary, financial reports, sales reports, government report, mission, vision statement, internet. So all these like data has already been collected, and based on this report have been produced. So this comes like a secondary data, and whereas the primary is you saw that statistical method and surveys. Data collection method, it can be observation method, interview, questionnaire, survey, and then other methods which include warranty card, distributor audit, pantry audit, and consumer panels, the in-depth interviews, content analysis, and the secondary data collection methods in the publication of different level of government, technical journals, books, magazines, reports prepared by the research scholars, public records and statistics, and historical documentation, etc. So differences in the primary and secondary data, there are a number of points like meaning, originality, adjustment, source, type of data, reliability, cost, collected samples, and all that stuff, where you see like suitability and all, and then there are differences in between the primary as well as the secondary data. So you can just go through this slide. It's an important one. You feel the difference over there. Then the talk and learn with the objectives, the research problems, research hypothesis, research design. And once you have the data, how you should interpret, what is primary data, what is secondary data. So all this is now, I mean, having a concrete fundamental concepts in your brain now, and then you go for literature review for your research purpose. So literature review is a synthesis of studies on any given topic, and it discusses published information in a particular subject area, and sometimes information in a particular subject area within certain time period, like within 10 years. So nowadays, any research is you should go for literature review not before 10 years. Like suppose we are in 2022, 23 now. So you should not refer much more paper. If they are not very basic paper, you should not refer literature before 2013. So you should confine yourself between the time period, like you will be referring research papers, review papers, and books, etc. only to 2013 onwards, if it is not very basic way, or something which is really like kind of axioms. It might give a new interpretation of old materials and combine new with old interpretation. Usually precedes a full-length original study and a way of introducing the general topic. And its purpose is to help the reader understand the background of his study and see how it's the next logical study to be
Hello, sir, are you there?
It's not audible, sir.
Hello. I guess, ma'am, there is a network break with sir.
Yes, even I think so. Shall we connect with him on phone?
We can wait for some time, like 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see if he joins back.
Okay, okay. Even the video is off now.
I guess, ma'am, he has left. He might be reconnecting himself.
Sushil, you have to wait for 2 minutes
Yes, sir.
and
Then I'll call
kindly,
him.
please call him.
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Can you please allow me to share the screen?
Sure, sir. Just a minute. You can share your screen, sir.
Okay. Participants, I request you, if you have any questions, please keep on asking me, either during the presentation or after. So, okay. So I was just talking about the literature review, that it really takes time, and basically the literature review during the start of the PhD, this is very important, because this gives you very firm foundation, a solid background in your particular research domain, so that you know how to read a paper, how to interpret the findings, how to read between the lines in terms of research publications as well as research writing, and how this literature review is going to make a firm foundation for your own PhD. And of course, you will be going through hundreds of papers, and you will also know how to write a good review, how to write a scientific or technical report, uh, how to cite the references, because citing references is also an art, and it depends what type of journal it is. They have on their own different referencing style. So there are a number of things. If you are very keen observer and keen researcher, you will see how nice it is to go on. Okay, there were some messages. I will answer that after we complete it. So then the literature review. The good literature review contains synthesis of available research, critical evaluation. It can be negative criticism or positive criticism. There must be a positive criticism always, so that we learn more and more. Appropriate in-depth content analysis, clarity and conciseness of the material, and use of rigorous and consistent methods in carrying out the literature review or literature survey. Poor literature review contains confined to descriptions, very narrow and shallow, confusing and long-winded, constructed in an arbitrary way, and annotated bibliography is there. It should not be, rather how to review. The whole process of reviewing includes first searching for literature, but even for searching for literature, you need to have very clear, I mean, the concept or use of particular keywords. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes. So why to write the literature review? It provides you with a handy guide to a particular topic. If you have limited time to conduct research, literature review can give you an overview what you are doing, and it provides a solid background for research papers investigation. It gives you comprehensive knowledge of the literature of the field, which is essential to most research papers. Then research literature can include books, journals, internet, newspapers, and all, but it should be from the authentic source, or don't refer, any open-ended source. It has to be well documented. It has to come from very authentic source, which you can even mention in the links also. Because if you don't give the source, if you don't mention the links, it's not valid actually. Even for the websites, if you are referring, suppose any website of any company or any government website or any ministry website or anything, any website you are referring, please mention the date also in the bracket that you referred this website on this particular date. So because they keep on upgrading and updating. So you don't know when the information you took, because it may or may not be there when somebody is trying to refer it after 5 years. So sometimes a research review is written as a paper itself, and then of course there are review papers which have been published even from the PhD thesis of the candidates. Then place each work in the context of its contribution to the understanding of subject under review. Describe the relationship of each work to others under consideration. Identify new ways to interpret and shed light on any gaps in the previous research, because then only you will be in a condition to frame your own objective, because then you know there is a gap, and to fill what kind of scientific objectives and experiments one should carry out. Sorry. Resolve conflicts among seemingly contradictory previous studies. Identify areas of prior scholarships to prevent duplication of the efforts, because suppose if somebody has already done that, point the way forward for your future further research, because then there will be open-ended branch. And then placing the research in historical context to show familiarity with the state of art development, relating ideas and theories to applications, understanding the structure of the subject, enhancing and acquiring the subject vocabulary, because then our students are sometimes very weak in scientific writing. So then rationalizing the significance of the problem, identifying methodologies and techniques that have been used in particular area of research. So all this gives a student a very high level of confidence with the literature review if one performs all these activities. So by the time he or she starts the real experiments of her or his PhD, then it will take less time, rather than if you don't have a little bit challenging for you, and you will not enjoy the things of your PhD journey, rather than you'll keep getting frustrated once in a while because you don't have very solid foundation while you are going for the literature survey. So literature survey is the key to enjoy your PhD journey from start to the end, because it gives you a lot of open-ended answers to the n number of questions, so that you can very well look at it and get maximum out of it for your successful PhD completion. Okay, what should I do before writing the literature review? If your assignment is not very specific, seek clarification from your supervisor or lecturer, because what area you will be working, very focused area, super specialized, and roughly how many sources should you include? I must ask you to to read 500 plus papers for a nice literature review in your particular area within 10 years? What types of sources, books, journals, articles, website? Yes, of course, the journal articles as well as the books. Websites I prefer less because they keep on updating and you don't have control on that. Then should you summarize, synthesize, or critique your sources by discussing a common theme or issue? No, it may or may not be, depends on your as well as your supervisor's understanding. There might not be common theme and issues. You can have like few other topics as well. Should you evaluate your sources? Yes, you should, because then only you know they are authentic. Should you provide subheadings and other background information such as definitions and or a history? If you think that this is well-known information, like 2 + 2 is 4, and then for this reason, you don't need to cite any kind of reference. But if it is unknown, if it is really getting informed and getting known by only few people, then you should cite the references. You should not cite the references for very well-known or world-known happenings. Find models as well as techniques and try to combine all this secondary data and then draw it in the graphical format, because pictures speak 1,000 words than your own 1,000 words. Even one single picture or infographics can give very good idea that what is happening, and then you can draw in different types of pictures. I mean, the bar diagram, pie chart, PERT chart, and NAT chart, etc., so that the reader gets the idea what is happening around. But to get one picture or one figure, it takes for you to read and go through hundreds of paper, so that you can get a lot of secondary data, and then based on the readings you can put all those information in a mathematical form, and then you can generate, you can draw some kind of graph and good infographic pictures which tells the pattern, which tells the trend since last 10 years. And then of course it will you will have goosebumps like, wow, my god, I can even do this, because then you feel more confident, and then you think like, okay, I have gone through all these research papers, I could understand that, and these are the findings I am going to summarize, and you will see that there is a really change in your own personality, and you will feel very confident and very satisfied and happy. So narrow down your research topic and consider whether your sources are current. That's what I was telling, like it should not be older than 10 years. Try sorting through some other current bibliographies or literature reviews in the field to get a sense of what your discipline expects. You must refer some of the papers in your area which are coming recently. Suppose if you are working on writing the same review, it may or may not get published. So it should be very different from the current reviews and research papers coming out, or just to sit down and write on a plain paper. Why should a journal publish your manuscript? Very simple. So till the time you are not satisfied, till the time you keep on searching, like, okay, in this area they have published, in this area they have published, what I'm doing is the same, forget about your publication. Till the time you will not do different, till the time you will not report some applied or fundamental research results, till the time you are not going to narrate the whole story, how it will have the impact on environment, till the time you are not going to fill all those research gaps, till the time you are not going to model it, till the time you are not going to make and analyze the 360 degrees of the overall research topic, it will not be published in a very good quality journals. Because nowadays it's a very high competition, and very good research groups are communicating all this, and if it is even though there is a small lacuna, it simply gets rejected. You can also use this method to consider what is trending and novel and what is not. So what is not, you should just write, then omit it from your manuscript, and then try to add all these novel things what you are doing and what novelty your research is showing. You must refer this, and you must mention all this in the cover letter as well as in the abstract of the research manuscript also. so that it's well communicated. Stanley, do you think we should?
So we can have a break if you wish for 5 to
Hello?
10 minutes. Hello, yes, sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, Dr. Sushil, I can hear you.
Yeah, yes, sir. We can have a break of 5 to 10 minutes if you wish, or we
Sure,
can
sure.
have just a short question and answer session meanwhile in this break if you wish.
Yeah,
As
please.
you suggest, sir.
Yeah. Participants, please answer question if you have.
Dear participants, if you have any kind of questions or query regarding the presentation up till now, you are open to ask questions by unmuting yourself directly, or you can just put your questions on the chat box. The questions are visible to Vivekanand, sir.
Sir, I would like to ask one very, am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam, please. Hello.
Sir, sometimes there are certain journals which have a very broad criteria of publishing the articles, like they cover the biotechnology section also, earth science also. But some journals, they are very specific, that they cover only certain topics. Like in biotechnology also, they cover just the bioinformatics or computational biology section. So like which journal we should target most? The one that is having a very broad area of coverage of articles, or the one that is very specific to the point of thing which we are actually researching on?
Okay. Very timely and very good question. Because nowadays, so the very focused journals and very, I mean, to the point journals. You may submit your manuscript there, provided you should go. Hello?
Yes, sir. You're
Yes,
audible,
ma'am.
sir.
So you should go through some of the papers, because then what they do, they go for very deeper analysis and very sophisticated experimentation in those kind of journals. So if our research is of that level where we are using and producing data and analyzing our experimental findings with a very high sophisticated instrumentation and trying to prove and reprove our findings, then we may go for very focused and super specialized journals. Otherwise, we can go for the normal broad area.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
And I think Dr. Aditi Singh, can you give some information on inductive or deductive research approach? This is basically, it contains the information what is, of course, readily available, but it works in both the way in our system, more or less same. So we don't have to be very much, worried about this. Pallavi Dikshit, how can I collect the data from different sources? If you go for the Science Direct or Scopus, as well as other search engines of the like Springer, etc., you can put the keyword and you will get some of the papers. There are papers which have been published with the research fee and they are open access. You can download the PDF, or the one which is still, asking for registration and asking for the payment. Maybe you can see the title, the name of the author, and corresponding author only. So Google down corresponding author along with his or her institution, and then get his or her email ID, directly mail him or her requesting that you have gone through this kind his or her research article, and it has been really nice, and it will help you if you get the full version of the paper. I think they will be very happy and satisfied to email their full research article on your request. So I mean, that's what I did in my PhD. There was not too much money even in IIT system that time. So we used to get very limited journals. So but still, once you go and read the paper, you find it interesting, then you write it to the corresponding author at that time, because then internet was also not too much, like social media was not that much. So you can get it. No research gate and no Sci Hub, etc. So they used to mail it to us. Any other questions?
Good evening, sir. Gaurav here.
Yes, please.
Sir, when are both qualitative and quantitative methods are beneficial?
Okay. It depends what kind of observation you are having, research observation. Suppose you have very limited number of start of COVID patients now, suppose, in
Yes.
any district of India. So you find it like 10, then 15, then 20, and all that stuff. And then, God forbid, suppose it becomes epidemic. Then you just go for the qualitative analysis or diagnosis that whether he or she is COVID positive or negative. So before that, because it was less in number, just start. So you were counting the patients, but now it has come up to the society level, epidemic. And then you are just trying to go only for qualitative results, either positive or negative. No intensity matters. Like Boolean expressions are either 0 or 1, null or 1. You got it?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, please. Dr. Ravish.
Good evening, Dr. Vivek.
Yeah,
Hello.
very good evening. How are you?
Oh, fine, sir, fine.
Yeah,
Actually, hello.
Yes, please tell me.
Oh, shit.
You are audible, sir. Ravi, sir, you are audible.
Yes, Ravish sir. Okay, maybe there is some problem at the source itself there.
Maybe, sir.
Sometimes, oh, shit.
Not a
Hello.
problem. We are here. Yes, please.
Hello.
Maybe if you want, you can type, sir. Not a problem.
Yes, I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Actually, here's some internet correct.
I think there is some problem.
Maybe, sir.
Yeah. Should we start and maybe Ravi sir could write and then I will, see.
Sure, sir. Sure.
So, Dr. Sushil, can I start again where we left?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. The sampling. All items in any field of inquiry constitute a universe or population, and a complete enumeration of all items in the population is also known as census inquiry. And it is not possible to examine every item in the population, and sometimes it is possible to obtain sufficiently accurate results by studying only a part of total population. And it needs to be emphasized that when the universal is a small one, it is of no use resorting to a sample survey. And when field studies are undertaken in practical life, consideration of time and cost almost invariably leads to a selection of respondents, that is, selection of only a few items. And the respondents selected should be as representative of the total population as possible in order to produce a miniature cross-section, and the selected respondents constitute what is technically called a sample. That's what I tried. Like sampling design, a sample design is definite plan sample design from procedures of the researcher would adopt in selecting items for the sample. A type of universe can be finite or infinite, and in the finite universe, the number of items is certain, but in case of infinite universe, the number of items is infinite. That is, we cannot have any idea about the total number of items. So population of a city, that is finite universe, and stars in the sky or listeners of the radio program or throwing of a disc, it's an infinite universe, because then we can't count that. Sampling design, there is a sampling unit, there is a source list, and of course there is a size of sample. This refers to the number of items to be selected from the universe, I mean the system, whole system, and to constitute a sample. The size of sample should neither be excessively large nor too small. It should be good representative, and it should be optimum. In that case, an optimum sample is one which fulfills the requirement of efficiency, representativeness, reliability, and flexibility. So once you are going to get hold of even one sample, it should give the same value what the group of samples have given, so that you have the reliability of the data and representativeness of the data, and you are not losing it. Parameters of interest, it determines the sample designing that one must consider the question of specific population parameters which are of interest. And then, of course, there are budgetary constraints where you have cost considerations from practical point of view, and have a major impact upon the decision making to not only the size of sample, but also to the type of sample and sampling procedure. Finally, the researcher must decide the type of sample he will use. That is, he must decide about the techniques to be used in selecting the item for the sample. In fact, this technique or procedures stand for the sample design itself. Characterization of the good sampling design and different types of sample design. So the sample design must result in a truly representative sample that we have already seen, and design must be such which should result in small sampling error. There should be data if it is having more than 10% of error, or I try to limit within 5 percentage, and if not, then I ask the students to repeat whole experiment, because there is error which may be manual, there is an error which may be mechanical, there may be error which is technical. So it should not go beyond 10% error bars. A sample design must be viable in the context of funds available, because you can't go if you have limited funds and you are asking to get data from around the India, and you don't have the travel funds or sample incoming funds. I mean, that traveling, their packaging, and then putting that in the courier, all that stuff, the transportation charge, etc., including freezing or non-freezing conditions. Then they put a number of high cost of the research. And sampling should be such that results of the sample study can be applied, and on the representation basis, the sample may be probability sampling, or it may be non-probability sampling selection, and it should rather be also non-probability sampling too. Then citing and referencing of the information or the paper or the book, whatever we are going, a way of giving credit for someone's thinking, writing, or research, that is the citation or referencing. You mark the material when you use it, a citation, either in number form or like Singh et al. Or something like that, with the year, and give the full identification at the end, the full reference. It can be of Chicago style, it can be of a number of other styles. In academic writing, you are obliged to attribute every piece of material you use to its author. And why cite or reference the things? Credit source of information ideas, because they were the original ideas of those particular group of researchers. That's why you give them credit. Reader can locate for further referencing them. Suppose I want to repeat an experiment, and if there is a reference, and the person who has referenced them has not put the materials and methodology section in very much detail, rather than he or she writes like this, method was carried out by as per Singh et al. 2023. So I will go down to the page of the research paper, refer that paper, and then again try to reproduce that methodology in my own experiments, and I'll start to go further into the research. Again, to validate the arguments, research justifications, like somebody has reported those values and have given the justification, and you also get the same or different, so you can always argue based on the referencing material. This is also used to increase and spread the current knowledge in the area of particular research samples. And then it also shows the depth, breadth, and quality of your reading, as well as the quality of research they carried out. When to cite, like if you are directly quoting the findings, you can cite that. If you are referring statistical numbers, or if you are referring the study, you can directly cite that. If you are citing some theory or facts or interpretation of the results or paraphrasing the things, you should always cite the references you are referring to. That is a basic ethical guideline. Citing references in thesis and manuscripts. There are a number of, I think you can see the authors like Humphrey J, Jameson LM and all, and then you have the date, you have the article title, you have the journal name, you have the volume and issue, and lastly you have the page number. So this is not the one of the most common style, but there are a number of styles which are available, and based on the type of journal, type of the book, type of the conference material, type of the editorial, you are asked by the journal's homepage, guide to authors. You have to follow strictly those guidelines to authors to prepare your manuscript while you are submitting it to the journal. A citation style or referencing system is a standardized system for referring to the materials used in your writing. There are, of course, already there are some commercial players and softwares which are there. You can use that. There are several different citation styles developed independently by professional organizations. University departments generally stipulate which style to use for your subject. Like there are a number of other institutes and universities which have prescribed their own format of their PhD thesis. So candidates follow that format and write their thesis. Necessary information required for citation: there are name of authors, name of journal article, chapter or conference paper, name of journal, book or conference, date of publication, volume, editor of the book if it's you are referring book, publisher for the books, a place of publication for the books, as well as page numbers, which is common to the article as well as for the book chapters both. And reference lists, data included in every reference. You see the author's family name and initials, year of publication, title, and publication data. I mean, this is the hyperlink, DOI number, digital object identifier, new field of all digitally available sources, including ebooks, journal articles, and do not include a full stop at the end of the item. If no DOI, use the URL, because then this kind of web address, that also, if you add stop sign, then it will be taken by the internet and then it may or may not open. So don't put any stop mark or dot at the end of the DOI or URL. Referencing styles, there are a number of styles like ACS, American Chemical Society, AGLC, Australian Guide to Legal Citation, American Medical Association. You see Chicago Manual of Style, then you have Harvard style, IEEE style, MLA style. So you have to go, with the author's guideline of the particular journal, which style they have asked us as a corresponding author or authors of the articles to follow the referencing style. You see in the down Harvard style and then Vancouver style. So it says like even the month of the year, like in the Vancouver style, August 2008, and then the name of the journal, is not there in italics, but in the Harvard style, it's in italic. The author's name in Harvard style, and year is in the after the journal's name in the Vancouver style. So there are, sometimes there are different styles one journal follows. So it's a general rule for the Vancouver style. Okay, this is most important slide, and I think we all are very ethical people. So publication is the most common contemporary form of research outcome dissemination. Whatever we have observed, we try to publish it, we try to share it with our family and friends and scientific fraternity. And the ethics in the research and publications must be followed. Researchers remain owner of the published work. If you have published, you are the real owner. And researchers published in the form of article, books, book chapter, conference proceedings, and preprint archives, and following members are involved in the publication, like authors, journal editors, peer reviewers, as well as the publishers. So there might be n number of conflicts of the interest which will slowly appear, but for now I think there is a simultaneous submission you can't do to both the journals or to two journals. No, it has to be submitted in only one journal at a time. No informed consent. If you are publishing somebody's material, you should inform and take their consent in the written. There must not be duplicacy in the submission. There must not be copy paste or cut paste business. There is a permission required for data or information uses. If you have not taken permission, it's not ethical. You should not do any kind of copyright infringement. You should not manipulate any kind of image. You should not fabricate the data. You should not copy paste all the text material from one paper, even of your own, to the other. Forget about others. There must not be data falsification. There must not be issues in the authorship or the order of authors or the number of authors. If it is there, you should solve it on the table. There should not be conflict of interest between all the authors as well as the corresponding author. Then there is a non-disclosure of safety procedures. Rather, it should be set like all the procedures, if you have followed, you should declare that all the safety procedures has been followed as per the countries or states or the Department of Science and Technologies guidelines. Because if you are working on some human object or live object or any environmental aspect, you must declare all these things because they are of prime importance. Why to follow ethics in research and publication? Of course, many of you must be thinking. Protecting life of human being, ethically published work becomes a sound base of knowledge, help in adequate rationalization and accelerate scientific progress, show ethical path to the followers, help in image building of researcher, and points to remember for publication, authorship and contributors, conflict of interest, publication misconduct, plagiarism. This all comes under publication misconduct, research fraud, fabrication, falsification, and salami slicing. And then authors and contributors, you should give all the credits to all the people whosoever have helped you in getting this work done. Then unethical guest authorship, if you have done, the authorship should be there. Honorary or gift authorship given as a gift or as an honor, no, you should avoid that. Ghost authorship, never. Anonymous authorship, not a real name of author or improper scientific article, no. Surrogate authorship, manuscript written by someone else without original data and published. So all these are kind of unethical procedures which should be avoided. Ethical conventions of publication, there should not be multiple submissions. There should not be similar papers publishing in multiple times. There should be suggesting potential reviewers, unethical to follow up friendship and fictitious reviewers. Error correction in the published paper, honest enough to admit if you have done some mistake. And then there should not be withdrawal or retraction of the published paper if found plagiarized or misconduct of false data, because world is so small that today or tomorrow they will catch you, basically. So principles of research integrity, the honesty, reliability, use of robust research methodologies, impartiality and independence, open communication, duty of care for participants. There should be fairness. There should be high standards of mentorship and supervision. There should be awareness of responsibilities to the society by the authors. And if you are trying to, publish all this, people write a very good paper, but then they don't know how to pack it. So it should be, the abstract should say problem statement, indication of methodology, main findings, and principal conclusion. These all to the abstract. In the introduction, hello,
Yes, sir.
am I there? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are there, sir.
Okay.
Your slide is visible, sir.
Sure. In the introduction, in the past decade, much research has focused on. So just 10 years, establishing a territory so that you know what to write, what to not. It remains unclear if you don't, go for review literature. The purpose of this study, so this occupying the niche, and you should say that there were the research gaps, and we have studied and gone through the research. And we have studied and gone through the process of data collection and techniques, data analysis you should mention. Sorry, over here. Then in the result and discussion, you should go for review findings and discuss outcomes, stake a claim and support it with the referencing material. And then one explanation you should give for each and every line in your graph, that why it is happening, how it is happening, why it should not happen, and if it has happened, why it has happened, all that. And in the conclusion, mostly in our Indian papers, if you see, the conclusions and abstracts both are same, which is no, abstract is the overall juice of your paper in 150 words or 200 words. Whereas in conclusion, you try to show that these were the limitations, otherwise we would have done better. And then you also recommend for the future perspectives that this may also be taken care of in our next study or in future studies by others also. So take home message for our this today's interaction is research is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, the love of what you are doing actually. So, and with this, I think I will put a line like, let us change by exchange. Exchange, don't count me wrong, like exchange something else, just knowledge. So that we all grow together and be happy. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful lecture on research methodology. What are the things that needs to be followed by budding researchers? The participants, if you have any questions or queries, the session is open. You can either just unmute yourself one by one and can ask questions directly to sir, or you can just write it on the chat box and your questions will be visible to sir. Sir, there is a question on the chat box from one of our participants, Pragya Anand.
Yes, I can
On
read
her
that.
behalf, I would read it to you.
Sure.
How to avoid and identify predatory journals articles during work conducting and publications.
Yeah, I should be back within 2 minutes and then we can have further discussion.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Just 2 minutes.
No problem, sir.
Yes, I am back. So let's start with the question from Pragya Anand. Am I audible? Is it okay?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. How to avoid and identify predatory journals articles during work conducted and publication? Okay. Pragya, the main thing is you have to sit with your supervisor and discuss in which journal you can send your findings. One, especially try not to publish other than the elsewhere as well as Springer, etc. Because then nowadays when n number of predatory journals, they keep on popping up in our inboxes also. So try to stick to the publication houses like Elsewhere, any journal of the Elsewhere, or any journal of the Taylor and Francis, good publication houses, or Ville, as well as Springer. Rest are not of, and of course the MDPI and Frontiers, they are doing much better nowadays. Rest, people even say like you give us like 2,000 rupees or $2,000, we will publish it overnight. I mean, who can review this? So they are just all bogus journals. So try not to get prey of that kind of publications, rather than publish in a very respectful as well as internationally renowned and peer-reviewed journals. So if any journal is taking a lot of time, maybe 2 months, 3 months, that is the at least nowadays normal publication time. So that's what I can say. And thank you, Dr. Devendra. And also I want to ask from Pragya, what will be the impact of AI? I think in the background of the plagiarism software, there is already an AI, so which is trying to know the system from where the source it has been taken, and based on that logarithm in the software, it gives us the clear picture of the origin. Pragya, do I answer your questions? Okay, thank you. What is the significance of citation? Dr. Dhaval. So, I mean, while you citing, you are trying to give the information to the future reader of your article. Like this was taken from, a particular group of researchers who have published their data. And then you are also giving the credit to that.
Okay, sir. So just to give the credit to them.
No, one is the credit is one, but
Sir, your voice is not clear.
There's some internet issues.
before that I told, if I am trying to, yes, so that I could refer to the real referencing paper and go back and cite and read those articles and
Okay,
try
sir.
to do my own methodology. And then if it's again, problematic, I can go a little bit up and down the methodology that original researcher has followed and try to work on my own system. Do I answer a question?
Okay, sir.
Okay, the next is coming from Nirja Srivastava. Is using Chat GPT not a form of plagiarism? Yes, it is, and it has been, just into the picture. So there, but this kind of plagiarism, it's not Chat GPT plagiarism. It's not coming in our research articles actually nowadays. But whenever it will come, I think the AI and all those commercial anti-plagiarism softwares which try to detect it, they will be very happy to help us. Okay, Shavan Kumar, it is very nice presentation. What would be the tense of results and discussion? Okay, you have already performed it, so it will be in the past tense. Okay, Shavan Kumar. Yes, I think I will be sharing it. Gaurav Verma, during PhD under some guide, what are the ethics to publish in collaboration with other group? Okay, Gaurav, very important and very nice question.
Thank you,
Good.
sir.
Are you a PhD student? Okay, sorry, you are from AIT.
Yes. Yes,
for
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, for the collaboration with other group, I think if your supervisor or candidate supervisors are known the collaborative group, as well as the PhD candidate supervisor are known, they can even talk to each other. If not known, the candidate should have written permission from his or her own supervisor first, and then post that letter or email putting his supervisor in CC. I mean, the overall you have to get the consent of your own PhD supervisor, then write it to the collaborator, because on your own you may or may not collaborate, but if the supervisor is involved, because supervisor, without supervisor's consent, you can't publish.
Yes, sir.
So they both have to be informed, they both have to be taken into the confidence, the work has to be synergized, and if there is a real contribution from the collaborator, then only their authorship should come on board. That is most important and more ethical. Do I answer your
Okay,
question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for very informative session, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Ravish, okay. Okay, not a problem, not a problem. Yeah, we can talk afterwards. Not a problem, Dr. Ravish. Yeah, I can understand. Thank you, Dr. Neerja Srivastava. Any other questions if there are? I think I will be very happy to answer that whenever the time permits and whenever we again meet. So it has been very nice to interact and get this much active audience, especially, and I'm really sure that it has helped and it will help you in designing your future, research and writing a good publication.
Indeed, sir. The session for today will certainly help all the participants to write excellent articles in the form of research or review and can get themselves published with premier journals. And this will certainly help them to design problems, which is one of the most concerned issues, like what is the actual research area a researcher should work upon. Your presentation will certainly help them a lot. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Singh and Professor Asthana, the director. Thank you, Parul Madam. Thank you, Singh Saab. Thank you, Gaurav. And
Thank you, sir.
the audience. And
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
madam. It has been very nice. Yeah. Thank you. Namaskar. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
With participants, I will be sharing an attendance and feedback form in just 5 to 10 minutes. And you all can fill that form by 10 p.m. so that your attendance can be marked. Thank you all. Very good night to everyone.
Thank you, sir.